Hello everyone, this is Doron and I'm here to show you a great card game called Baseball Highlights 2045. This game should be enjoyable to people who are not even fans of baseball, such as myself. Baseball is not one of my favorite sports, but this game is just something that I couldn't pass. I really truly enjoy it. You can consider in a way an advanced variant of War. I don't know if it's even fair to compare it to War, but it's basically in this game you play a card and the opponent has the ability to play a reaction action card to that, and of course I'll show that in just a moment. Just bear in mind, this is not really a review of the game. This is a walkthrough to give you an idea whether this game might be for you or not. I'm not going to cover all of the rules. This is just to give you an idea, a sense of the game. So you start, every player, and this is obviously set up for 2 players at the moment. This is, like I said, a baseball game, but it's not really, it doesn't really mimic exactly how the mechanics of baseball works in this game, in my opinion. And one example for just for showing that is that each player plays on his own board. They do not share the boards. So every player has a starting deck, I believe, of 15 cards. They're all the same. Everybody has the same starter deck, just different team, different names, but the same exact abilities. Now, you start with a hand of 6 cards, and this game, Baseball Highlights, it's basically broken into mini games, mini sets of mini games, which after each game you go through a buy phase to be able to purchase free agents to make your team basically stronger. But while buying stronger players with their abilities, you also have to give away some of the players that you have. Now I'm playing open-handed like that. Now I should explain, the game, at least at the time of filming this video, comes in 3 versions. I guess the base game, and then it comes in a deluxe package and a super deluxe package. I managed to get a super deluxe package that I believe has all the expansions to date, but the base has nothing missing in it for an enjoyable session of a game. The deluxe has a few expansion, where the super deluxe has, like I said, everything in it, so to date. And basically it consists with additional cards that you add to the free agents, as well as the coaches expansion, what I haven't yet had the ability to play with. But they're basically certain abilities, I believe, possibly a one-time ability that you can use them in your advantage. Also, the futuristic theme in this game, which I enjoyed actually reading that in the rules, is that in the year of 2045 you have different kinds of players. You have the naturals, which are human. You have the cyborgs, which are human with robotic arm, which are good for playing pitching or hitting or what have you. And then you have robots, which are great for hitting the ball, and those cards, specific cards, are in that advantage. Alright, so enough said. So on your turn, what you do, you choose 1 card to play down, and I'll get into a little bit more of information. But when you place that down, you play a card down there. Now, like I said, you start with a hand of 6 cards. Each game has 6 innings. You play a card per inning. At the end of the game, you put these guys in a dugout, and then you move on to the buy phase. Now, let me actually choose a card that might be good, and I think this will be, let's see, I want to choose a card that will be good to explain. Alright, for example, this one, and I'm gonna focus on it and explain to you a little bit in detail because that's important for understanding the game. Alright, so this is a rookie as you can see. That's the New York team. This is a robot. This is the type of the card that you will put, and then below that you have 3 boxes. The top box, which here is empty, some cards have an immediate effect that once you play the card you get to do it. It's either defense or offense type of a card. The next box is a double. In this case it's a double. It might say 2 doubles. It might say single and double. Single, single. It might say triple, or it might say home run. This is the type of action that you currently threaten to take, and I'll explain just momentarily. And at the bottom here you will see there's the letter S that stands for slow with the color white below. So there's 3 types of these are basically the pawns, the players that you send to the field for that moment. There's white, slow, there's average blue, and fast red. These are the runners that you send to the field. So I will place this card and I'll show exactly what it is. Let me focus again on the board before we go ahead and do that. So I placed the card here. Now if you remember, it said double on the next box. That means I'm threatening a double. The board, by the way, should be a little bit self-explanatory, unless if you're not familiar with the game of baseball, which you do not have to know the rules of baseball, just certain definitions, like double, what's a double, what's a home run, things like that. But here you have all the plates that you have: first base, second base, third base, and then a home run. So I'm placing a color white that matches the slow running here, and I'm threatening a double. Threatening means if the opponent doesn't come up with a reaction to that card in a certain way to cancel, then I would get to do the action that I was threatening, which in that case would be a double moving 2 bases. Now, the other player has an ability. He gets, before I actually get to do that, the other player has gets the opportunity to try and block that option if he has a card, which in that case, actually surprisingly, he does not have a card that can defend from this action. So what he will do at the moment, he will choose a card of his own to use as an attack when I get a chance to defend later on. Now let me see what I would choose here. I'll go ahead and choose this card. Let me just show you. I'll zoom on that. So unfortunately none of my cards had a defense ability, but here again there's the box on the top that has no text in it, which means there's no immediate action is going to happen. Here I'm going to threaten with 2 singles, with a slow running, with 2 slow runners, and I'll show that. So basically I'm placing a card here and I'm threatening with 2 slow runners. Now, since I did not block this threatened action, this player gets to move 2 times double. Now it's this player's turn to choose something. Let's see. So he doesn't have any action defense that he can take to threaten this, to cancel the threat, but he will play a card here that has threatening with a triple using an average runner. Now I haven't explained exactly what's the difference between slow and average and fast, and I'll explain that just momentarily. Okay, so I'm threatening with a triple using an average, which is a blue runner. Now this guy threatened with 2 singles that I was unable to block. So first he moves the first one, then the second one will move, but since you cannot have more than 1 runner a base, both of them are going to move. So now I'm threatening with a triple. Now this guy doesn't have anything that he prevented, but what he can do, he has a card here. It's a defense card that what it does, it's a pick-off, remove 1 base runner. So Once I play that, I decide which base runner at my opponent's playing mat I will remove, and obviously it will be this one. So since I placed that one, I actually did not threaten anything on this turn, so I don't place any runners by the plate. So this guy gets to move triple, 1, 2, and 3. Now this is his turn. So as you can see, you can keep on playing this. Oh, this one is a good card. A double play has an immediate action of remove up to 2 base runners, and they cannot be fast. Remember, slow is white, average is blue, red is fast, and like I said, I'll explain shortly what that means. I'm going to remove these 2, and I'm going to threaten with a single blue. Alright, so this guy's going to keep going. I think you got the idea. Now, let me explain to you what the difference between the pawns. The slow one will move exactly as the box says. If it says single, he'll move 1. If it says double, he'll move double. Doesn't matter where he is, even from here he'll move double. If it says triple, he'll move triple. From here he'll make a home run. Or if it says a home run, he'll make a home run. An average, a blue, is exactly as a single. However, if he's on second base, on a single, he will score a home run. A red guy, a fast runner, will always move 1 more base than what the box will indicate. So if it says a single here, he will move as a double. If it says a double here, he will move as a triple. If it says triple, he will do a home run. Now, the catch here, if there's another player, let's say a slow runner here, and let's say that here, for example, and there's a single. So we always first move those on the lead. We move a single. Now if you remember, the red will move 1 more than what the box will indicate. Unfortunately, since this one is in here, it cannot move double, so he moves here. So there's some strategic elements that's going on in this game. Now in this game, you play against another player in the mini series. You play 3 games where you alternate between being the visitor and the home, and every game the visitor is the one who starts, and then you move on to the World Series where you play a set of games 4 best out of 7. Now here you have the scoring. Whenever you make a score, you advance this scoring track. You have here where you can log the games that won. Let's see. Now let's go over the free agents. Now any cards that you were used in here basically would be all of the cards that you used for the game. You can use them. There's a currency on them. I won't show it close, but in a green color there's a number which stands for a currency. You can use those to purchase free agents where their cost is in red. So for example, this one will cost you 6. So if you have enough 6, you can basically spend these cards. You don't really get rid of them but 1 in order to purchase that one. They have this certain ability. For example, this one costs 12, but he lets you threaten 2 home runs. This one is a robot, lets you threaten 2 singles with an average. Let's see. Okay. This one, for example, costs you an 8, is natural, but he has a leadoff, he has an offense. Once you play it, you get to do a single right away if this card is the first card that you play in your game. And you also threatening with a fast red one, and also the threatening that you do would be a single. Might be a little confusing, but once you start playing the game, you'll get the hang of it right away. Now once you purchase a card, one of the cards that you use to purchase him, you have to send to the minor league, and you place it like that. You basically discard the card to make sure that you always have a 15 card roster. So you are not limited in the number of the cards that you can buy after each game. Now let's say you bought this card. This card will go straight on top of this deck. The reason is very simple. For the next game, you will pick up the top 6 cards from this deck, and you're making sure that the card that you just purchased will be one of them. That's really it. Now, another element in the game that I will just briefly mention is you can place a card on deck, which means before the game starts you have 6 cards, and you can choose one of them to place it on deck and replace it with another card. This card will stay here, I think, as long as necessary until you choose to play it, and you do so by discarding one of the cards in your hand into the dugout and then playing this one. The only condition to be able to do it is that the card that you are discarding has to have, and it doesn't have here, has to have the pinch hitter symbol at the bottom. Let me just zoom on that, focus on that. So a card that does not have the pinch hitter symbol cannot be discarded in order to fulfill that action. Now also, you don't have to have a card in the on deck to do that. You can just discard any card that you have with a pinch hitter symbol to pull out the card from the top of the deck and play that right away. And play that right away. So you would not know really what's going to be next from the top of the deck, but sometimes you don't have any good cards in your hand and you would have nothing to lose. For example, if the opponent would threaten with 2 home runs and you were looking for a card with a good defense to try and cancel at least one of those threatening hits, that might be a good part of a strategy. And that's really the basic of the game. I may have missed something, but I believe that I've given you a good idea of how the game runs. If you enjoyed this video, found it informative, I appreciate if you like it. Subscription would also be appreciated. And remember that sharing is caring. Thank you for watching and have a good day.